2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Stations, we're coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, mark. 1 minute stations, 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds, stations. Have fun.
On the Rice Owls Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to the Rice Owls Basketball Show with Rob Lanier and Lindsay Edmonds. Now to lead things off, here's the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes, we made it back. Let's see if I remember how to do these things. Thanks to Jordan filling in last week on my Puerto Rico excursion. Welcome back to the Rice Owls Basketball Show. Thanks to Walter behind the scenes, to Leak back in the studio. A quick nod before we get to head coach Rob Lanier of our Rice Owls. How about the Rice Owls swimming and diving team taking the conference championship with that big win? I had all my fancy bullet points right here. I must have typed them down, but a very narrow win. It came down to the 400-meter freestyle. They get it by 1.5 points off the top of the noggin, and they get a huge conference championship. There it is. First conference title since the 2013-14 season. Congrats to Coach Houston and company. Rice Swimming. Stay tuned in just a bit. Jordan will be on to talk with Coach Edmonds, and we have Emily Klaczek joining the show on the Rice Owls women's team to talk, no doubt, about senior day and her time here at Rice. And then we have assistant coach Nelson Terroba coming up next segment after we talk to Rob Lanier, our Rice Owls coach. How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. We talked a little bit about this after that blowout win against Tulsa. Was that one of those that there are no days off, but it gave you a little bit of a deep breath? Enjoy that for a few hours after the really tough, stressful games that led up to that?
Yeah, I was really happy for the guys. You continually are asking them to be resilient and show a level of resolve, and to finally be rewarded after consecutive heartbreaking disappointments, to still have the ability to bounce back and have a victory like that. I thought it was well deserved. I was happy for the guys.
Mm-hmm. What led to the great start? 18-5, 21-4, around that neighborhood. Just the guys came out ready to go, showing no ill effects from the tough end of the UAB game.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've been talking about is offensively we really have improved in conference play over the last several weeks. Our offensive efficiency has been up, our scoring, our three-point shooting, everything has improved. And as that has happened, our defense has gotten progressively worse. And, so we honed in on that, and they responded with one of our better defensive efforts. We held them to 37%, and, they're leading scorer didn't score in the second half, and it felt like the first time in a while that we really had taken some real pride on the defensive end. So that was great to see.
Trey Brodnax led you, but it was another balanced game. He had 16 points the way he started early. I just saw the look in his eyes. He got a couple quick steals, and I was listening back to the broadcast last night. I was like, he was on it offensively and defensively early on. Trey setting the tone, among others, in that Tulsa game.
I think the fact that was noticeable is something Lindsay and I were talking a little bit last night, about that team leadership. And I've been trying to get Trey to understand, Trey is the ultimate high character individual, from a coaching standpoint. Love coaching him. But I think sometimes it's a waste for a young man to have all of this information and not constantly share it. Like I said, he's high character, he's tough, he's competitive, he works hard, he does all of these things, but he won't say a word. And I just need him to be a little bit more connected. And I need his communication with me to go to another level, because it shows me how engaged he is. And I think it has a ripple effect on the team. And because he's our most productive player, I think that's a responsibility that he holds. And he's shied away from it, or he hasn't gotten all into it, whatever it is, but that's the next step he's got to take as a player. And I thought what you're describing, what you noticed, is a part of that. And I felt it during the game. And now that he's exhibited, he can't go back now. So, but I was proud of him.
We all love good redemption stories. Kellen Amos came out, had a solid game, and I was telling Tim, I was like, I really wanted to talk to Kellen, and I told Kellen himself just the way he bounced back after the tough ending. We'll recap some of the UAB game in a second, but with him missing the free throws into that game coming out, it didn't seem like he wasn't feeling sorry for himself. I'll let you talk about it. Just what did he do to just kind of shove that away?
Yeah, I think it's a byproduct of the positive energy inside of our team. The message to the team was that it's okay for him to feel the weight of the disappointment, but it's not okay for him to take the blame for the outcome of the game, and that responsibility falls on his teammates. But he should not be made to feel as though, certainly he had an opportunity that we wouldn't have been in position for him to take advantage of if it weren't for him. And so I think he's inside of a group where it was okay for him to be vulnerable and be disappointed, but not okay for him to accept the blame for the outcome of the game.
You played so close against all the top teams, the exception of that one game, I guess, at North Texas, but with the close Memphis game, close home game against UNT, and the close game at home against UAB, you've seen the guys go head-to-head with these top teams. What does that reflect about the team, how they're getting better? I know you want to turn them into wins, obviously, but they're playing so close against the top teams. The UAB game, no exception.
Yeah, I think it's a byproduct of our improved offense, the effort and connection inside of our group. And the fact that we haven't quite been able to get over that hump is a reflection of our declining defensive effort. And again, I think that was reflected in the performance on Saturday.
Jacob Darr had 24 points in that game, back-to-back season-high games for him. I looked at it. I guess this could be true of a lot of players, but I remember it's the second time he's had back-to-back season-high games or some big career tidbits. What's clicking with Jacob? He continues to show up in the biggest of moments.
Yeah, the game has slowed down for him. There was so much information. I think it was overwhelming him for a while. I mean, he didn't join us until August. We had most of the guys here since June, and all of those practices and the introduction to a new way of doing things. He was on the outside of that, and so he was playing catch up the whole time. But his ability is obvious. His ability to shoot the ball, his athleticism, and his motor. And so it was a great lesson for him on Saturday because he wasn't scoring. And the next step for him is this realization that he can impact winning when he's not putting the ball in the basket. And he started hunting shots in the second half because he wanted to feel, that sensation of putting the ball in the basket. And I like that. I like guys that can score because I can't make it for them. So you need some guys out there that can put the ball in the basket. But, he doesn't need to feel the responsibility to score, and carry us offensively. And it was a good lesson for us, and I think he'll get better from it.
Off the court, can you refresh us more about the Darr story? Because I remember Coach Kreider telling us some things when he filled in for you a few weeks ago, and just off mic kind of telling us about Jacob. Just one, he really fits into the Rice mold, and in the locker room too, but just how you're able to find out about him and just his family history and how he got his citizenship before the Bahamas trip. It's just really a fascinating story.
It really is a great story. we were at the NCAA tournament. I don't know if they do this on the women's side, but on the men's side, they have the NCAA has a recruiting event that we go and watch prospects, and it's the last weekend in July before the end of the recruiting period in the summertime. And so all the coaches are there, and all of these prospects are there. And Andre Owens got wind of Jacob's availability. He was committed to Brown University. There was a discrepancy with transfer credits. I don't know how much I could say about that, but there was a discrepancy there that led to a late decision by Brown for him not to go there. It wasn't about grades. It was just about transfer hours. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, the staff from Brown was at the camp, and I was able to sit down with the coach, and they felt so bad about what was happening that they took an active role. They wanted him to land in a great spot. And from their vantage point, he was coming to an Ivy League school. What better than the situation with Rice, where you guys have scholarships, and we were able to watch film on him. The young man who recruited him to Emory and Henry just happened to be a young man that I had a previous relationship with, and things happened relatively quickly. But Brown's got a really good team this year, and he would have been an integral part of that. So, it was just a matter of circumstance. Like, things happen relatively quickly, and we didn't get a chance to really watch him play. It was just film, and we brought him in on a visit. He liked us. He didn't have a lot of options anyway.
Speed dating, right?
Yeah. And then, things happened. He got here to campus, and it was obvious once he got to campus, his physical attributes and talent. It was also equally obvious how little understanding he had of a lot of areas in the game that were important to us, that it was going to take him some time. But we knew we had got ourselves into a situation where this is a really talented young man.
Yeah, and then the congressional connections to get him citizenship. I don't know Brown's schedule, but if he's playing at Brown, he might not be a U.S. citizen, right? Isn't it a wild part of that?
Yeah, some of those things, he's been in the country for most of his life. But we had to do that stuff because we're taking a foreign trip this summer. Yeah. So Chris was really active in trying to make sure that stuff was taken care of ahead of this coming summer so that he could participate in the trip without any real complications.
It's fascinating. So you got Memphis coming up, obviously a big trip every time you go there. Playing them so close recently, brought in February with them, and we'll close out February at Memphis. Just tell us what's changed, if anything, from Penny Hardaway's club.
Well, they're really good. I wish something would change with them. We played them last year, and they weren't playing their best basketball. And we got them, and we beat them handily at our place last year in Dallas. They're still trending up. Even in the game when we played, they shot over 50% from the field. They shot over 50% from three. That wasn't a game where they came in and they were off their game. And that was actually the encouraging part from a competitive standpoint, that with all the talent they have, with the great three-point shooting, they're one of the best offensive teams in the country. They're one of the top 40 defensive teams in the country. They did play well in our game, and we still were knocking at the door. If we can raise our defensive level, continue to improve offensively, and maintain the level of fight that we've displayed, we look forward to the opportunity.
Coach Terroba, our staff guest, coming up here next. Tell us a little about him, how you, I guess, met him back at one of your Austin stints over there, and what kind of asset he is for you.
Yeah, back in '99 when I was a young assistant at University of Texas, Nelly was one of our managers, and we spent some time together because I used to take a group of college all-stars over to Europe. I did it for about 6 years, and I would coach against foreign teams, and it was just an opportunity for me as a young coach to try to manufacture some head coaching experience. And Nelson went on a trip with me. And because we were in Greece together, I nicknamed him Nelonius. And so I got to know him as a young, aspiring coach, his work ethic, his acumen for the game. And since then, he's built a career on a professional level. He's been a high school coach, but he's coached in China, Africa, Canada, and the G League, among other places. And so he just brings a wealth of knowledge and a perspective that has really bolstered our staff.
I'll see you in Memphis, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate you. Rob Lanier, head coach of our Rice Owls. Stay tuned. Coming up in just a bit, Nelson Terroba, Owls assistant coach, will join us next here. We're at Cocina, Westheimer. This is the Rice Owls basketball show from Learfield.
Owl fans know where to stay when they come to Houston. The Courtyard by Marriott, Rice University, is their preferred choice. Whether cheering on the team or kicking off their Rice experience during O Week. Just minutes from Rice Village and less than 2 miles to campus. We provide the right mix of convenience and accessibility. Coming in spring 2025, enjoy Michelin-starred dim sum excellence in our restaurant. Cheer for the Owls by raising a glass in the lounge and start the day right with breakfast in the bistro. Call 713-661-5669 to make a reservation and be sure to ask for the Rice University rate. We look forward to welcoming you.
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer for those who don't follow trends but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment, 6 generations in the making. So don't just raise a glass, raise a flight by Yingling, official beer partner of Rice Athletics, and now available everywhere in Texas. The Yingling Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Please enjoy responsibly.
Football fans are passionate, just like John Deere fans. And if you're a John Deere person, the name to know is Shoppers. In football, it's about calling the right plays. The right call for John Deere equipment is Shoppers. Shoppers has a right-sized John Deere tractor with attachments for any job. You can build your tractor online with Shoppers' exclusive Build It, Price It, Own It tool. See all our John Deere specials by Googling Shoppers at SHOPPAS. It's time for you to make the right call. Shoppers, your John Deere tractor experts and proud sponsor of Rice Owl Athletics.
Cancer is never just cancer. It affects your entire body. At Houston Methodist Neal Cancer Center, we have the expertise to treat all of you. Leading oncologists use the latest technology, research, and treatments to stop your cancer, while specialists minimize its effects on major organs. There's a better approach to cancer care that heals all of you. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Welcome back to the Rice Owls basketball show. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes. We are back here at Cocina. Roberto has us fixed. Everything good, Roberto? We good? They treating you nice? Okay, let me know. I can pull some strings if they're not. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I've got my brisket quesadillas coming on the way. They don't have, and you can't try to get something bad on this good menu here. I'm shifting. I've gone from a brisket taco guy to brisket quesadilla guy. That's just what you're going to have to deal with. And we have our next guest, Rice Owls assistant coach Nelson Terroba. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jake.
Yeah, no, appreciate you coming out. I know on Monday you're getting into the work week, so I appreciate you donating your time. You back up a bit. You've got a fascinating backstory, which we'll get to more, but I like that local-ish Texas angle of it, that you've been in the state. So you're Texan, but you've got some international flavor. Just kind of give us the 30-second, 1 minute, however you long rap sheet of Nelson Terroba. Just your
we'll
background
keep it to
there.
30 seconds.
However long you
keep
want.
everyone happy at home. Started at the University of Texas, was a student. That's where I met Coach Lanier. To be honest with you, my opportunities in basketball were really affected by Coach Lanier in terms of when I was a manager and worked with him. We were, he was recruiting T.J. Ford at that time and leading the efforts on some of those players that kind of changed Texas basketball. He enlisted me to help him, just with some, back then I was doing graphic artist stuff and Photoshop and things like that. And he was always wanting to be creative and innovative with how he connected with the recruits. And I think when he left and became the head coach at Siena, he really advocated for me with Coach Barnes. And his advocacy was really critical for me moving up to be a special assistant the next year once he left. So I think that was really critical for me in my career, just to be able to move up the chain and have somebody advocate for me. And so that's how long I've known Coach.
And where'd you go to high school? Did you grow up fully
I grew up
in
in
Texas?
Dripping Springs, which is right outside of Austin. Back then it used to be a rural suburb back then, 400 kids in a 3A school. So I played there. I played for Coach Shelton, but graduated from there, played high school, went to Texas, was a dream to go to Texas. Always grew up in Austin. And then my sister and brother went to Texas. And so then, just got on staff, wrote a letter to Coach Barnes, when he got hired, and just got good fortune that Ed Catala, one of the assistant coaches, read that letter, and I worked summer camp and found a chance to find a way to get on with the staff and as a manager, and then that kind of where it started. And I was after that I was a high school coach, middle school coach for 10 years in the Austin area. And then a gentleman that I worked with at Texas, Will Voigt, had gone the professional route, and I'd stayed the high school route. And he reached out. We always kept in contact. I never wanted to be a pro coach, but he asked at the right time, and I said, it might be a good chance for me to learn, so I did it.
Wow. So pick the story up there. You've been in China. You've been in Canada. Give us the international flavor of South America too, or am I mixing that with Chris, how he had the South American ties, but you've been all over.
Right. Mostly so high school, and then from there I ended up doing Bakersfield G League for a year, came back to Austin, ran a facility, and built out a basketball program there, Centex Attack, which is now an AAU program in Austin. Then from there, kind of wanted to get a chance to get back to coaching pro stuff. It's funny, I had a player named Curry Flowers, the kind of player that just tells you the truth, pretty blunt player. And I was, he had gotten a scholarship to Temple Junior College, was giving him a ride there. And he looked at me and said, "Coach, what are you doing coaching AAU?" I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You don't need to be coaching AAU. You need to be coaching pros or college. You don't belong in AAU." And I just kind of shrugged it off. But it kind of, got me thinking about getting back to giving it a shot. And so from there, I kind of got back to the Erie Bayhawks for a year, was a head coach in Canada in the NBL at St. John for the Riptide for 2 years in NBLC. From there, that team ran out of money. So then I ended up landing at the Texas Legends with George Gallinopoulos, who had been an intern when I was at Bakersfield, and I'd kind of sort of mentored him, and he was kind enough to give me a chance to help him out. So I was with the Texas Legends in the G League for 4 years there, got up to be an associate head coach there, and then from there was with the Calgary Surge as the head coach in their inaugural season 2 summers ago. And then from there, just came back, when kind of got in contact with Coach and thought that a chance to come stateside and to get closer to home and to build something here in America was something that I wanted to try.
Fascinating. Here with Nelson Terroba, Rice Owls assistant coach. And we had Max Fiedler. He's now with the Texas Legends, yes, I guess. Right. I know your paths didn't cross directly. We just saw him on a Twitter video there. He's doing well. So give us the acclimation coming to Rice. I guess the climate here is a little different than Calgary in the summer. Maybe a little. You're used to the Texas heat, right? So
yeah. I would take Calgary's summers over Houston's for sure, but I would definitely take Houston winters any day of the week, and I'll take Houston over that all the time. Yeah. But yeah, no, the acclimation here. The thing that I've really been impressed by is the players, the student athletes. Just their commitment. Their ability to. You wonder when you come from the pros back to college, what's the difference in the level of ability to learn, eagerness to learn, skill level, all that stuff. And I've just seen that our guys are not far from that level. They're very, very much committed to the game as much as those pro players are. They're eager to learn just like those pro players are. And super coachable, eager learners. So, the thing that stood out to me is that the quality of the individuals that we get to coach here at Rice.
Around the breakfast nook at the Tampa hotel.
Yes,
you told me a little bit more about your backstory, if you don't mind sharing how you have the bilingual background because of your heritage.
Yeah.
And how does that work in? With coaching, but also just being well-rounded. Rice, obviously a very international university, but just it's a very cool attribute in your background.
Well, I appreciate you asking. My pops is from Cuba. My dad's from Cuba. My mom's from Colombia. So I grew up as a native Spanish speaker. They had a bagel shop when I was growing up. So since I was 5 years old, I was working at that bagel shop, doing whatever, getting paid $5 a day to do nothing or sweep a floor or something. So to this day, I always bust my own table because I always remember when I was young getting mad at the people that wouldn't bust their own tables as a young person. So all the credit goes to my parents. Really, the American dream in terms of coming to America with no family, no friends, no language back in a time in the 60s when it was way more challenging. And to give you an idea, we spoke about this, but when my pops landed in Miami back then, nobody spoke Spanish, which is hard to believe nowadays. But yeah, so my ability to speak Spanish, and I've been able to do some clinics and camps in Mexico. You mentioned some of that South America stuff. But just, it's something that I've really learned to appreciate over the years, and really, as you grow older, probably when you're after 28, I think you start to really appreciate your parents. Mm-hmm. And my folks, when I really think about their story and how they made a great life for themselves and us as their children, it's really something that, my work ethic, my commitment, and if there is character about me and an approach to things that is positive, if that does exist, it's because of my parents and the example they gave me.
Amen to that. Well put. Is the international game, it's blown up so much in the last 20 years, maybe even more, but just what are you seeing have you seen on the international front? I know with Rice now, but it's growing so much more, I think, than people even understand. Like globally, it's just taken to another level, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just got done watching the Court of Gold thing on Netflix, which was about the Olympics.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's great. I just binge watched it yesterday, so it was really cool because I got the perspective from all the countries, and so you really get a feel for the international pursuit to catch up to America, and now basically be on level playing field. I think at the end of the day, what I enjoy about potentially trying to go do clinics and coaching abroad is, especially in South America where I've been, the eagerness of the kids to learn the game, and the eagerness of the coaches as well to learn the game is something that really energizes you if you're a teacher of the game. They're just really thankful that somebody with that experience is there. They're really eager to learn. So I think the international focus has been on technique and organization, alignment, and programming to really develop their players really strategically and really organized in an aligned fashion. I think that's why they've caught up to America in terms of why the skill level is generally sometimes higher there. And I think that's great because it's made American players have to level up too and say, okay, it's about technique and strategy too, in addition to athletic prowess.
Wow. Hey, great getting to know you. Muchas gracias. Appreciate it.
Okay, I appreciate the time.
Yeah,
thank
you.
You.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Nelson Terroba of our Rice House. Stay tuned. Coming up in just a bit, Jordan Smith will be here, talk with Lindsay Edmonds. It's the Rice House Basketball Show here at Cocina from Learfield.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, it's time to hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
Hey there, Houston. Are you ready to elevate your game on the court and behind the wheel? Rice University's basketball team is teaming up with Porsche River Oaks for an electrifying experience. Introducing the Porsche Macan EV. This isn't just any vehicle, it's your new MVP, most valuable Porsche. With its stunning design and exhilarating electric performance, the Macan EV will take your driving experience to championship levels. Whether you're dribbling through the city streets or venturing off the beaten path, the Macan EV adapts to your lifestyle like a pro. It's the perfect blend of agility and sophistication, just like our Owls on the hardwoods. And here's the best part. You're invited to exclusive test drive events. Don't just sit on the sidelines. Come see how the Macan EV handles every curve and corner like a champion. You Porsche River Oaks today and indulge in the luxury you deserve. But hurry, this electrifying opportunity won't last long. Get in the game and elevate your driving experience. Porsche River Oaks, where luxury meets performance. Go Owls!
Rice teams and traditions are legendary. Our team as strategic wealth designers are proud to be a partner of Rice Athletics. What an honor to be working together. When you're ready to discuss your financial future, call the team the Owls Trust. We look forward to creating your winning strategy for retirement. Visit us at swdgroup.com today and go Owls.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude. gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids dealing with unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness or disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Help us get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org. Team Impact. All in, all together.
You're listening to the Rice Owls Basketball Show. Here's Jordan Smith.
Back here at Cocina for more of the Rice Owls Basketball Show, as we now bring in Shelley, Pennington and Friends head coach of your Rice Owl women's basketball squad in Lindsay, Edmonds. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing all right. A little chilly Monday, but otherwise, thankfully it's going to warm up.
I think it's warming up, so that's the good sign.
Thank goodness. So before we move on, let's quickly recap the last week of basketball. The thrilling victory back at home, first home game in quite a bit. You get the huge victory against FAU, lowest opponent field goal percentage allowed in a conference game in school history at 18.2%. Just talk about that effort in the win back at home.
Yeah, I was really proud of our effort. I think we came out with a little bit of a slow start, and we challenged them at that first media, and the way that they answered, I was really, really proud of that. Our communication picked up, our defensive intensity picked up, and then because of that, our offense kind of got going. So proud of that effort, especially after, the disappointing losses on the road the week before. And so I was excited to have that type of game and that type of way for the players. I felt like we really needed that for momentum purposes, for confidence purposes. So it was really, really good to see.
Yeah, and in that ball game, a plus 14 rebound margin. That's been the main thing this season. I believe fourth best on this season in regards to rebound margin. What has been the thing that has worked so well as of late, right around or just over 200 rebounds in the last 5 games, with a good amount of those on the offensive side as well?
I mean, it's just something we talk about every single day. Every day in practice, we do some type of box-out rebounding drill. They hear me say we want to win the rebounding battle a ton. They hear us talking about going in for offensive boards a lot and giving us our second and third chance opportunities. I think we have several players that are really gifted in that area. Obviously, Malia and Haley, but Susie and Shelby also do a tremendous job of getting offensive rebounds as well, too. And so I think it's just something that we are gifted at, and we just have to utilize it at all times. And Anaya's flying in there and getting rebounds as well, too, offensively and defensively. And then Dominique has been incredible lately just with her rebounding paralysis on both sides of the basketball. So I think it's just something that everyone on this team can impact the game in.
I would say, especially Dom, it seems like the last month and a half, she's really started to, as it gets closer towards the tail end of the season, really get to that next level, have 2 back-to-back double-doubles, her first 2 of her career, and then having a good performance as well in the game Saturday. Just kind of what have you seen from her as we start to wind down this last month of basketball?
I think you said it. I think she's just taken her game to another level. She's always been a great offensive player, and she's been sneaky defensively with steals or, quick hands and stuff like that. But she's never impacted the game, the rebounding, the way she is rebounding right now. And so it's good to see that. I also hear her talking more, and I know that is like her coming outside of her comfort zone because she's not typically been that, but she's pushing herself outside of her comfort zone, and I'm hearing it, I'm seeing it, and I just think she's, again, taking her game to the next level and really where we need her to be.
And now looking at this past Saturday, senior day, had the doubleheader of basketball, huge festivity of the day, and the alumni weekend as well, having everybody from the past come back, a heartbreaker. Yep. Right at the end there against UTSA. Just kind of talk about your thoughts about that ball game.
Yeah, definitely a heartbreaker. You wanted it because it's at home and you want to win all your games at home that you can. I wanted it for the seniors. I wanted it for the alumni that were back. So definitely a heartbreaker. It was really cool for alumni to see so many of our former players be back from our tenure that we were able to coach. I think sometimes when you graduate, you're like, oh, I'll go back in 5 or 6 years when I'm a little bit older, but I don't need to go back right away. And just to see so many of them there, it was so special. And I think that attributes to how much they care about the players that are still in our locker room. They care about our staff. They care about our program, our culture. So they wanted to be there. So I think that was really special. But I was so proud of our fight. We dug ourselves a hole. But we clawed and fought, and we got ourselves to an opportunity to have a chance at winning a basketball game against the team who's contending for a regular season championship. And so proud of that effort. We got to bottle that effort up. We got to bring it. And it's hard when you don't have the outcomes that you want to say, well, I can do that again. It's a lot easier when the outcomes are in your favor to say, oh, I'll keep showing up. I'll keep doing exactly that. But we got to keep doing exactly that. We just didn't do it for 40 minutes. And if you do it for 40 minutes, you run away with the ball game. And so we just got to find a way to not dig those holes and not put ourselves in those situations. If we don't dig the hole, maybe it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the alumni from your tenure, especially, Destiny Jackson, Fatu Sam, Ashlyn Zong from last season, and then seeing Crossweight as well in the audience. That was all great to see them as well, of course, honoring the 2000 WAC regular season WAC champions with the huge round of 64 win as well, and as well Jenny Cafferty getting the huge win in the Battle of the Sexes as well. Just a great showing of the history of women's basketball.
Really was. When I first got here, I think the first weekend that we did, alumni weekend, I don't know, I'm going to say like 4 or 5 people showed up. And I'm coming from a place where at NC State, the alumni weekend was huge. It was everybody. I mean, everybody's coming back. You're having 40, 50, it felt like, plus their families there. And it was always associated around the Play for K game, and so that also drew players to come back too. But I was like, I just want to build this up. I want to build it up where there's more and more players returning and coming back. And every year we've done that, and so I'm so proud of the people that work behind the scenes to make that event be as special as it is. And I hope we just continue to grow. I want the players to, know that this is their home away from home, and they can always come back. And it's just so good to see the old with the new, with the current, and being able to see them networking and connecting and hearing from alumni like, oh yeah, Trent and I text all the time, or oh yeah, I go to church with Malia, or it's just really, really cool to be able to hear those connections happening. That's what it's for, and that's what it's about, is blending the old with the new.
The 5 seniors being recognized in Saturday's game: Malia Fisher, Emily Klaczek, who we'll actually have on in the next segment, Susie Gulafak, Maya Bukanevich, and Trinity Gooden as well. What was it like for you when you're writing up the starting lineups to say, all right, senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, senior 4, senior 5, get out there, you're starting in the game today?
Yeah, I think I've been dreading this moment for a long time. It's kind of crazy for Malia and Trin and Maya. They've been here since the moment I walked on campus, and to think about Rice women's basketball without them, to think about life without them, it's just unreal how quickly time flies. And then with Sue and Em, we just hit the jackpot in the transfer portal. Coach Rob was talking about earlier how speed dating, and you go so quickly, you don't know what you're going to get. But with Em and Sue, we knew right away, we wanted them to be in our program. We wanted them to be in our family. And since the moment they have walked on campus, they've enhanced our program. They've enhanced our culture. They've enhanced our locker room. And so 2 years is crazy to say, because it feels like the impact they've made on this program is so much more than just 2 years. So really special to be able to honor them and start them in that game, and do that for them, and be able to see them all out there together and sitting on the bench. That picture that was posted of the 5 of them in starting lineup, it's definitely getting printed. It's definitely going up in my office. So I hate that the outcome didn't get to celebrate them the way I wanted it to, but they're a special group, and they will forever be remembered. We wouldn't be where we are today without all 5 of them.
Taking a look at one of those seniors, Susie Gulafek has had herself a good last week of basketball, 19 points, 8 of 13 shooting, right up there, keeping her track for leading field goal percentage on the team, and on her way to second all-time, again, back-to-back seasons of leading that mark. Just what have you seen from her in this past week, and really with taking that starting role this season, and what you've seen from her?
She's the first one, and I see it all the time. But when something doesn't go her way, she carries it and is visible, and you see it. And there's not many people that can pull her out of that. And so I really challenged her to be able to pull herself out a little bit better, and to believe in the confidence that I have in her, to believe in the confidence that the players have in her, and not let 1 become 2, become 3 mistakes. And I was like, hey, I'm leaving you out there through this because I trust in you, because I know that you're going to turn the page. Like, go and show me like why I'm leaving you out there. And I feel like last week she did exactly that. And she's not, it's not like she's scoring 20 points or 25 points but she's doing her job. And everybody's focused on her and everybody's concerned with her. And even if she's not getting the basketball, she's demanding attention on the inside, which then frees up the ability for Dominique to get shots, or Anaya to have a driving lane, or Malia to get an offensive rebound, because everybody's so worried about Susie. And so she plays a big role in our success, and she just needs to be confident in that role that she has.
You talked about the impact a little bit that Klaczek has had on the culture and on building this program. Talk about her path to getting to Rice from your perspective of things, and how you got her on South Main.
Yeah. So we, Em went into the transfer portal, and it's like, man, will she transfer within conference to come to us or not? And then it was like, you know what? Let's just call and let's just see. And Coach Nick had the first phone call. And he was like, it was great. You got to get on the phone with her. Like, she's exactly what we want, exactly what we need. And I got on the phone with her, and I wrote this in her senior letter. Like, I knew from that first phone call, like, I wanted her to be in this program and in this locker room. And her and her mom came on her official visit. I remember being extremely sick, and I was like having to rally to get up and get myself to breakfast. But it was an incredible 48 hours or whatever it was, 72 hours for an official visit. And it felt like we have known each other for so long. And so I knew that she was going to come in and impact us in a major way. I mean, she was voted team captain after just a summer of being on campus. I think that's really special. That shows who she is as a person, who she is as a teammate, her ability to connect and really listen and build those friendships, and to be able to get her teammates' votes that quickly. It just, again, shows a lot about her character.
Now let's take a look at the upcoming week of basketball. First off, you got the game tomorrow night, back at home to end this 3-game homestand against UAB. Fortunate loss in overtime the last time out in Birmingham. What's kind of the lookout of tomorrow's matchup, and how to end the homestand on a good note?
We definitely have to guard the three-point line. They love to shoot the three. I think down there our goal was to hold them to 5 or less threes. They had 5 in regulation, but then they had 2 in overtime that we really kind of couldn't overcome. So we definitely have to guard the three-point line, make it tough. We won the rebounding battle pretty big there, so we got to make sure that we do that again. We had, I think, 22 offensive rebounds and only converted that to 13 second chance points. So I think we can get the offensive rebounds. We just need to convert at a higher rate. But it's the turnovers. I think we had a really bad offensive showing at their place, and this is no discredit to them, but it wasn't anything that they did to us, because they play a saggy man anyway. We did it to ourselves, and we have to, value and cherish the basketball every possession, and give ourselves great opportunities. I thought we settled a little bit there. They're sagging off us, and so it baits you into taking outside shots. And I don't think we have to settle for those outside shots. So hopefully we can impose our will a little bit better on the offensive end now that we're at home.
And then Friday, obviously you haven't looked at them as far as game planning and stuff yet, but you did face them in the conference tournament last season in the semifinals. So you've gotten a little bit of a look at the Temple Owls, one of the other Owls in the conference. Just kind of from that, what you remember, if any, from that matchup, since it's been so long. What's kind of the early expectation of what to potentially face against Temple in the final road game of the regular season?
Yeah, it's definitely a long time ago. Their teams changed. Our team has changed since that last outing. I know they're physical. I know they rebound the basketball well. I know they have some dynamic guards. And so I think it's our first time going to Temple, so that's also a little bit unique. We got to get up there and get some opportunities to get in the gym and shoot on their rims. But I expect it to be a battle. I expect all of them to be a battle at this point. Everyone's fighting for seeding. Everyone's fighting for their records. Everyone wants to be playing their best basketball. So I expect it to be a battle. I'll definitely dive into that Tuesday night after I break down Tuesday night's film, and then jump straight into Temple. But Diane does a tremendous job of getting their players playing hard and aggressive and physical and fighting. So we'll be up for the challenge, though.
Appreciate your time as always, Coach.
Thank you.
Coming up next, senior guard Emily Klaczek joins the show to talk about her time here at Rice and more. It's the Rice Owl Basketball Show live from Cocina from Learfield.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
At True Anomaly Brewing, our greatest achievement lives in knowing that everything we've learned is yours to enjoy. While it may not be rocket science, we brew with the same detail and dedication learned while running mission operations for NASA. Taking risks is part of our DNA. We don't take them just to say we did, we take them because of the result. Bold brews we're proud to share with fellow adventure seekers. True Anomaly Brewing, beer for the explorers.
Big trip on the horizon? Before you depart, you gotta park. The Parking Spot is a simpler, easier way to navigate airport parking, and you can save when you book online. You're guaranteed a spot, and we even pick you up at your trunk in our yellow and black spotted shuttles and take you straight to the terminal. Parking and saving come full circle at the Parking Spot. The Parking Spot, proud sponsor of Rice University. Visit theparkingspot.com to reserve your spot today.
North Star Pressure Washing is a full-service pressure washing company able to provide any type of exterior cleaning to your property, whether you're a small business looking to improve your appearance for your customers or you're a property owner looking to add curb appeal to your home. In addition to improving your property's appearance, our services will also protect your property from the damage mildew, algae, and other airborne contaminants can cause, thus extending the life of your home or property. Remember North Star Pressure Washing for all your pressure washing needs. Big or small, our company does it all.
You're listening to the Rice Owls Basketball Show. Here's Jordan Smith.
Back here at the Cocina for more of the Rice Owls Basketball Show as we now bring in one of the seniors on the squad, senior guard Emily Klaczek. How are you doing, Em?
I'm doing well, Jordan. Thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. Great to have you. This is, for those who may not know about you, introduce yourself a little bit to the Rice community.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Emily Klaczek. I'm a senior guard on the Rice Owls women's basketball team. In my fifth and final year, I was very fortunate to be a freshman in 2020, to be granted an extra COVID year. So my first 3 years were played at UAB, and I'm in my second year at Rice University.
Now, talk a little bit about that path. Coming from Hoffman Estates, Illinois, like you said, having the COVID freshman, you're getting that extra year, spending your time in Birmingham, and then getting to Houston. Talk about that path a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was first in the recruitment process as in high school, I really thought I was going to stay close to home. I thought I was more of a homebody. And then I took a trip out to UAB, and I really liked it. And ever since, I didn't like being far away because I really like my family, but I really like the challenge and the independence that I've been able to learn. So I spent 3 years in Birmingham, and it was really good. But knowing I had 2 years left, I really wanted to change, and I wanted to be a part of a program that I knew would put me in a really good position to win a championship and to grow a little bit more on the court and off the court. So I hopped in the portal, and I got really, really fortunate when I heard from assistant coach Nick Grant through my Twitter DM, hey, wondering if you want to connect, talk. For a second, I was like, Coach E kind of talked about it when she was on the show before, would I want to transfer within conference or not? And I was like, I'm absolutely not going to make that decision until I get to know them. And as soon as I connected with them, as soon as I got to know them, it was a no-brainer that would never be an issue. It was a no-brainer that transferring within conference was the move to do if it was to be able to come to play for Rice University.
Now, like you said, your second season here at Rice, what's it been like transferring over and getting used to the city of Houston? A lot different weather from Illinois, obviously, a lot hotter, but
yeah.
A lot more humid. But just kind of talk about what it's been like for you the last 2 years here in H-Town.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I really like it. I like the city feel. I like having a lot of options, a lot of restaurants, a lot to do. It's been really fun. Houston's a great city. I think it's the fourth largest in the U.S., so I like the big city feel. I like where Rice is located in terms of you kind of get the private, you get like a private school within a big city, so you get a little bit of the college feel as well as I'm an adult living in a big city, so it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Now, for you, what was it that got you into the sport of basketball? Was it a person? Was it an athlete? Was it just seeing the sport? What was it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I was talking to my parents, having it just be senior weekend, a little bit about this. A lot of it was just my parents put me in sports. It wasn't just basketball to start. It was basketball, it was soccer, it was t-ball, then baseball. But it was just getting involved with sports, other clubs, dance, stuff like that. It wasn't until middle school where I really felt like I was pretty good at the game, and I really enjoyed the game. And so that's a really good combination when you're good at something you love. I had a lot of great coaches, a lot of great support around me, pushing me to say, hey, playing at the collegiate level is definitely an opportunity. And so knowing that in middle school allowed me to push to want to play in college as a high schooler. And I apologize that my voice is a little gone, just from games and everything.
You're good. No worries. So for you, who has been the biggest inspiration for you, whether it be in the sport of basketball or outside of it?
That's a great question. I would say my family has been my biggest inspiration through every level of basketball. They're just the most supportive group of 6 individuals that I've ever met. They all just made the trip down for my senior weekend, and that was incredible because it's not a small group to get together, and all my brothers are kind of on their own path doing their own thing, but they've always just pushed me. They've always been a big reason to why I play. They're the first to text me before a game, the first to text me after a game. They follow me along with their own busy lives. And so that means a lot when other people are able to put you as a priority to them as well.
Now talk about that senior day experience of it. Like you said, family got to come down and being celebrated on the court with everybody in such a hard-fought ball game on Saturday. Just talk about it's a senior day from your perspective.
Yeah, it was surreal feeling to be the senior. Like for my 4 years playing before this year, it's always been the senior classes ahead. I still have 2 years, I still have 3 years, I still have 1 year. But to actually be the senior this year felt crazy, but it was really, really fun, and it was really special. And I know you and Coach talked about it. For her and the coaching staff to make the decision to start the 5 seniors, that doesn't happen at a lot of programs. That doesn't happen in a lot of places. That is Coach E to a core, putting our senior group first. And just the whole weekend was really fun. Our teammates did a lot to celebrate us in the locker room. They decorated our lockers. They gave us a ton of love, ton of photos to hold on to forever. And so it was really just a fun weekend. Obviously, the outcome of the game didn't land the way we wanted it to. But one thing was we definitely fought till the end of that game. And that is something that you can walk off the court knowing that you did and be proud of our group for doing.
Now, for you, what has been the biggest impact for you since getting here to Rice? What's been the biggest impact for you on the court, off the court, what have you?
The biggest impact has been the way that I've been able to change as a person due to the people who've been around me. I was great coming into Rice. I'm not going to discredit who I was before, but I feel like a much better and well-rounded person. And it's something that you can talk about, but you don't necessarily feel till you're a part of it. And so I'm going to do my best to try to explain. But when you're surrounded by a group of people who just empower you and love you and want the best for you, you grow and you flourish. And that's exactly how I have felt on the court, off the court. People who just buy into you as a person. And it's all around. It makes you want to buy into them, and it makes them continue to buy into you. And so the biggest impact has been the relationships I've made, the people who I've learned to love, and the way that I'm now able to love because of the way I've been.
Now, for you, history major, correct?
Yes.
So what does life after basketball look like for Emily Klaczek?
Life after basketball, it's $1 million question, Jordan. So I am a history major. Originally, I thought I wanted to be a high school social studies teacher, and maybe that's in my path, maybe it's not, but I'm kind of navigating a career change right now, thinking I want to stay around sports, maybe get my feet wet in a sports business type of deal. So there's a lot of question marks for what's to come next, but I'm using the resources in my networks here at Rice and in touch with some people who are going to be able to help me out and just figure out what I want to do.
Well, we look forward to seeing what that career path takes you, whichever one that you go on. Even though there's still obviously a little bit of season left, you still got the rest of the regular season conference tournament, hopefully more. We'll see what happens. But as you look back on your career, what do you feel like you'll miss most from playing the sport?
I'll miss the competitiveness that the game provides. I'll miss the camaraderie, my teammates. About a month and a half ago, I sat down and I wrote out a big calendar of all that's left. However many days when I started, it was maybe like 25 guaranteed practices left, 7 or 8 games at the time when I wrote it down. And I was just like, how can I make the most of every day that's left, knowing that when it's all over, I'll, of course, miss it. And so that's given me a lot of perspective and a lot of, let me just enjoy every single day. Let me enjoy the film sessions. Let me enjoy the practices, the stretching that we do every single day to try to make it, put into perspective that it's not going to be here at some point. So I'm going to miss that. I'm really going to miss being around the people that I get to be around every day.
And finally, you've already touched on her a little bit, but Coach E, Lindsay Edmonds, what is it like getting to play for a coach like her?
Incredible. I've never played for a coach like Coach E. I've never had someone, well, I've had great coaches in my past, but she just loves on you in a different way, and she believes in you, and you feel that. She tells you that, but you also feel it. You feel the love that she gives you, and she just extends her family and the family that she has to our program. She really does. So landing a spot here at Rice has been the best thing for me, and I know that Coach E will be in my corner from now till the rest of my life, and that's special.
Well, again, Em, congratulations on an incredible career, and thanks for stopping by here at Cocina to talk a little bit about yourself and your career and everything here with Rice Women's Basketball.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on, Jordan.
Coming up next in our final segment of the Rice Owl Basketball Show, we'll bring back in JP Heath to talk about the upcoming week of action at the Rice Owl Basketball Show from Learfield.
You ready for the big game? Fuel up for game day at Salad & Go. Whether you're tailgating, playing in the game, or cheering from home, make sure you've got your game day greens. From fresh salads to hearty wraps and refreshing drinks, Salad & Go has what you need to fill up and feel great. Score big with game day greens from Salad & Go. It's just what you need to win the day. Find a drive-thru near you at saladandgo.com or order online at saladandgo.com.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Owl fans know where to stay when they come to Houston. The Courtyard by Marriott, Rice University, is their preferred choice, whether cheering on the team or kicking off their Rice experience during O Week. Just minutes from Rice Village and less than 2 miles to campus, we provide the right mix of convenience and accessibility. Coming in spring 2025, enjoy Michelin-starred dim sum excellence in our restaurant. Cheer for the Owls by raising a glass in the lounge and start the day right with breakfast in the bistro. Call 713-661-5669 to make a reservation and be sure to ask for the Rice University rate. We look forward to welcoming you.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, it's time to hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
Rice teams and traditions are legendary. Our team as strategic wealth designers are proud to be a partner of Rice Athletics. What an honor to be working together. When you're ready to discuss your financial future, call the team the Owls trust. We look forward to creating your winning strategy for retirement. Visit us at swdgroup.com today and go Owls.
Bringing you more Rice Owls men's and women's basketball. Here's Jordan Smith and the voice of the Owls, JP Heath.
Yes. Wrapping it up here, the Rice Owls Basketball Show. I do have some sad news to relay. We have our last show coming up next week, our final edition of the Rice Owls Basketball Show for this season coming up next week here at Cocina. So we'd like to have you out. Thanks to all of our fine fans that have come out, and obviously great coaches for putting things on and having their staffs out here. It means a lot. Thanks to Walter on the scenes, to Leak. Jordan, the upcoming week, I understand your first trip to the city city of brotherly love.
That is correct.
Okay. Do you have? We know basketball is a priority. Okay.
Right.
Do you have a cheesesteak mapped out? Because I went there for the first time last season, and no lie, within like 20 minutes, I had like 6 cheesesteaks. So, do you have that?
I don't have a map yet. No, I'm going to need to start getting on that though.
Okay. Do some research. Yeah, got to do some intel. Tomorrow against UAB, 7 o'clock jump. And then Friday, get used to say that for a Friday afternoon game coming up for Friday night game for you all, right?
Game, yeah, against Temple in Philly. So.
Yeah. We got Jordan. We go to Walter. Okay. And then I'll be up in the Bluff City. Rice taking on now 14th ranked Memphis Tigers coming up Wednesday night. I heard Coach Lanier say in his segment, his team won last year over in Memphis. Rice won last year up in Memphis. That was definitely one of my highlights calling that one. And that'll be at 7 o'clock, ESPN Plus for all of these games. And, of course, on the Rice Owls Gameday app, the Varsity Network app, and riceowls.com, our same great audio channels. And then Sunday, be scooting over the Alamo City, the Rice men taking on UTSA's Road Runners. That's developed into a bit of an I-10 rivalry coming up. Great job.
Absolutely. Great to be here once again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks to Jordan. Thanks to Walt. Thanks to all of you for coming out here. Appreciate you all so much. Have a great rest of this day and night. God bless. Go Owls. Rice fight. We'll talk to you this week. Some Rice basketball. This is the Rice Owls basketball show from Learfield.
On the Rice Owls Sports Network from Learfield, you've been listening to the Rice Owls basketball show with Rob Lanier and Lindsay Edmonds. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Rice Owls Sports Network.